And hello again, and here we see my Norley with its missing tank, because the tank's still off, being painted, but I have been assured it'll be ready quite soon, which means I've got no excuse for not doing some more work on the bike. So let me take up the seat and I'll talk about the things I want to change in the near future. And one of those things is the electrics. Now this wiring actually isn't that bad, I'm quite pleased with it. It was my first bike that I completely rewired from scratch, and it all seems to work okay. And it wasn't easy because I've really got no room to put anything, so I had to split up the components into one little area here and then another area here. And one element in particular I'm not too happy with is the handlebar controls here. I mean, that's pretty much it. And that is some old controls, I think, from an old, I think it was a Honda CBR, but don't quote me on that because it was given to me. So I think that really lets it down a wee bit and it could be better. While on the left hand side we've got this little pod which contains the idiot lights. I think that actually might be from Motor Gadget. Nice little thing, but I popped it there because I don't really know where else to put it. Yeah, so maybe this could be moved and put somewhere a bit neater, perhaps even inset into this top yoke, who knows. And so, having been impressed with the parts from Motor Gadget, which I've had fitted to my Merch 131 Softail last month but one, I think I might go the same route on this bike. Now that would mean buying a new M-unit control ECU and new handlebar controls and all kinds of things. Quite expensive, that all comes to about £500, which is why I didn't go for it the first time round, but I think perhaps this bike does deserve that, so I'm just currently saving my pennies and I'll soon be buying some of that and rewiring the whole bike again. So that's one of the big changes I want to make this summer. And the second change I want to make is to the foot controls, both the gear change side and the brake side. And the first issue I've got is that these levers here are a little bit too modern for the bike. I was given them many years ago. I think they came off, or rather they were made for an early Triumph Triple. I think they're made by LSL, the German company, and very nice they are too, but they're a bit too modern looking for the bike. So these will have to go, and instead we'll make a new pair which should fit in with the style of the bike a bit better. And then the second issue is the way the gear lever works. This gear change rod here runs below this lever, and I did that because it just looks better. The problem with that is that there's hardly any room to actually get the damn thing to work. You can see there, this is actually rubbing against the exhaust here, and I can't remove the exhaust because that's all been made to match the one on the other side, and also there's very little movement there. That it's very difficult, it's very tight. I mean, I knew that when I made it, but yeah, it's not ideal. So when we remake these levers, we'll make them with the gear change rod on top rather than below. And finally, one more thing about having the tank painted is that I no longer need to use a polished aluminium front mudguard. Now I can go for a painted one instead, and that's good because this thing is too narrow and it's been really difficult to try and find a classic English style front fender that's wide enough to cover this 100 width tyre. And the kind of mudguard I'm thinking of using is one like this one here, as fitted to my Ducati MHR. Now I can still buy these replicas, of course, in plastic, and then I've just got to get it drilled and fitted, and then I can paint it black, simple black, and get it on the bike, and I think that should look pretty good. And so I plan to make a video about each of these changes I want to make to the bike. I'll make a video about completely rewiring the bike using the new Motor Gadget equipment, which actually just arrived. And I'll also make a video about making the new rear sets, along with perhaps making a video about the paintwork in general. As you can see, the tank's not arrived yet, but it has been promised to me in the next few days. And there's one more fix to make, and that's to the seat mounting, because right now this seat doesn't mount correctly at all. So let me turn it over and I'll explain what's going on. And here we have the two threaded studs which are built into the bottom of the seat, and they have to obviously go through a hole somewhere on the bike and secure the seat to the bike. The problem I've got is that the holes are drilled here in this little bracket to take these mounts. These are too low, or rather these studs are too short, and there's not enough thread that comes through here to improve things. I can't really raise it up because then it's going to interfere with something else on the bike. So this has been a bit of a problem. And as it turns out, the solution to this was very simple. I just needed to buy two of these things, and these are sleeve nuts, in this case a female sleeve nut, and what will happen is the threaded bar on the seat will come down to about here. It won't go through that hole, but it doesn't matter because now these can slide from the underside and protrude through the hole like that as far as need be, and you can screw down and everything should be nice and secure. So that's one little fix, and pretty damn simple, and thankfully these things cost, you know, pennies, so it wasn't really an issue. And in fact I have now bought the equipment from Auto Gadget, this bike, to rewire it, so let's go and have a look at that now and see where my money went. And here's the Auto Gadget M-Unit basic version, which means it doesn't have any sort of Bluetooth connectivity, so you can start your bike from your mobile phone, which is no problem, I don't need that. But other than that, it's got everything else I need. It's quite small, very compact, and yeah, it should make the wiring a lot easier, a lot tidier, and it means I don't need to have a flasher unit or any fuse box, that sort of thing, and it basically does everything and makes life a lot simpler. And along with that, I've also got a wiring kit, all different wires and colours you might need, and also a handlebar switch control. So let's just look at this one. This is actually exactly the same as the one I've got on my other Harley, my Merch 131. I went with a polished aluminium one, these little mini version with small buttons, just 3 of them, and that's all I need for the bike. One will be to start the bike, one for the horn, and one for the lights and high beam, low beam. And the clever thing is, because I'm using this unit with this one, you can make it so that one button does more than one thing. So for example, for the lights I can have press once for low beam, press again for high beam, press again back for low beam, and I turn it off, keep it pressed in for more than say 2 or 3 seconds, and that's all programmed in to this M unit. So that's great. Not cheap. Altogether this is about £4.20. That's £420, and it's expensive, I must admit. It does make life so much easier when you're wiring a bike from scratch, and yeah, it should give me a nice, reliable, compact, simple system, and that's what I'm after. And so now I've just got to strip away all the wiring on the bike at the moment and start again with this stuff, and we'll see how we get on. Oh, and by the way, one reason why the Norley project hasn't really progressed as quickly as I would like is due to this chap here. This is Barney, the golden retriever, and I used to have him 2 or 3 times a week, but since March he's been with me full time. I'm not sure how long he'll be here for. He's actually pretty sleepy right now because he's been out for a good long walk and it's a hot day. Hey Barney. But it does mean that he takes up a lot of my time, at least 4 hours a day. We have to go out for a good long walk and all the other things that you have to do when you've got a dog. So sadly, or perhaps not sadly, the Norley project has had to take a bit of a back seat for now. And but nevertheless, we are making progress. It's just a lot slower than I'd like. So anyway, thanks for watching and cheers.